Hello, everyone. Hope you've had a great day. I want to talk a little bit more about a topic we've talked about before, and that is the joy that the believer has. We've talked about being a godly man. We've talked about the validity of the Bible, but we've also talked about the lack of purpose, the lack of joy, the lack of peace that is in fallen humanity. So I want to talk about more particularly the joy of the believer. And I've written down some notes, and I want to try and convey this in as clear as a way as possible. So, to start, as humanity, people, we may see a beautiful sunset or hear a great song, feel the touch of a loved one, experience close friendships and tightly knit families. We could hear the ocean waves or smell our favorite food. And this warm feeling fills you. And it puts a smile on your face and a peace in your heart. That's the feeling of joy. That's a common grace that God has allowed all of humanity to experience. But that feeling is fleeting. These little flames of joy ignite and slowly fade, seemingly in an instant. And many people choose to chase these fleeting moments in one way or another. They think that that's enough. And that's what some even call their purpose, is to find happiness in these little things. And as I said, that's a common grace. It's a good thing to feel happy, to experience joy in these events. But jumping from moment to moment, they chase it and they try so hard to go from each moment. That's why today's society lives such a hedonistic lifestyle. You can't stop seeking pleasure. Seeking it in yourself, seeking it in others, seeking it in money, seeking it in experiences or shopping for items or food or traveling, what have you. There's a host of things that people continue to chase so that they could fill some emptiness and they can experience this fleeting joy. But once it fades, you're left with what this world is. You're left with pain, struggle, anxieties, depression, and a lack of purpose. That's the natural state of fallen humanity. A fallen creature in disunity with its creator. Once those feelings fade, you're left to face your sin. You're left with your thoughts. You have to see your lusts, your anger, your jealousy, your purposelessness. And this life, it's full of struggle and turmoil. But the joy of the believer, it is not ordinary. The believer does experience the examples that I gave in the beginning, but there's a deep-seated joy. It's foundational. It's a constant stream, and there's other waves of emotions and struggles and difficulties that flow through your life, but the joy, it's constant. It's there because it's the joy of being united with the Creator. It's a joy that can only be experienced when one has received grace, when you've encountered Jesus. And that joy, it's hard to explain, but it is not ordinary. And it is unique to the believer that you can go through difficulty and some of the most challenging, heartbreaking, terrible, awful experiences in your life and simultaneously be joyful because you know Christ and because Christ knows you and because He's forgiven you and He's holding you and he's sustaining you. The chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy him forever. That is the point. That is why we were created. So if you don't know Christ, seek him. Open the Bible. Read. Even if you're critical, even if you've got questions, even if there's doubts, seek him and learn why you were created. Understand it and experience it fully. The glimpses of joy you feel in these moments that we described before, they're magnified and augmented when you have the foundational joy of knowing Christ, because you know where the beauty of that sunset comes from. You know that that close friend is given to you and sustained by Christ. That family, everything is so much more meaningful and magnified when you know Christ. And for the Christian, grow in joy. Feed your joy in Christ. God is most glorified when we are most satisfied in him. It is the greatest good and greatest pleasure humanity can experience. Your ultimate joy is from him and the work he has completed it's not in anyone else. It's not in you, it's in him. Look to heaven, look to Christ. Stop looking inward and continue to grow in that joy. God bless you guys, and we'll see you soon.